Hi, we previously talked about how to do shift assignment using ERPNext. Now, that's the normal functionality that is offered by ERPNext, the open source software. But you may want to do more things that's unique to your organization that off-the-shelf software, the off-the-shelf software may not offer. So you need to customize the software. So why do we customize? We all have our own unique strength, which may or may not be available from the common ERP systems. Well, we have a unique strength, unique way of doing things, which sets us apart from our competitors. And that's what makes us unique. And therefore, customization sometimes is needed. We need to customize the ERP in order to capitalize on our unique strengths. It is no good to adapt ourselves to an ERP which is containing common operations, common features, which may not suit your unique way of doing things. So it's important to note that we want to have a strategy for customization. That is to utilize as much of the off-the-shelf capabilities of the ERP software as much as possible so that we minimize development costs and only customize where necessary. And usually, the bulk of the software can meet your requirements. It's only some portion of it that needs to be adjusted in order to meet your unique requirements. So the result that we want to attain is ensure reuse, maximize the reuse of codes so that we are compatible with future versions of the software, and whatever that we have customized will not break the future versions of software for our usage, and minimize our own workload because we don't have to customize as many things. Now, let's go back to the rostering system and see what are the kind of customization that's required. In this case, we might have a unique need to ensure that we comply with local regulations. For example, in Singapore, the employment guide for the security industry. So in our case, the allocation of guard duties and guard work assignment, we must conform to the government's regulations. Let's say, for example, the government has a regulation that a guard cannot work more than 12-hour shift a day. And there is, in this case, more than 12 hours, and there's at least 6 hours of rest between each shift. Let's say this is a requirement by law. So we need to, the original software from ERPNext will not contain such requirements. And also the company, the duty system will have certain requirements, say, I must have a day shift every day. At least one guard must be on duty every day for 7 days a week, and one guard also on night shift for 7 days a week. Such requirements, are not typically available off the shelf from the ERP. So we need to customize them. Now let's see how we can customize the software. Now going back to ERPNext, this is a roster check, which is a customized doc type that I've created, which, it is not difficult to create. It's a customized doc type that's not readily available in the original software, but we created it to customize to our requirements. We have mentioned that we want to customize things like tell the software to say that maximum continuous working hours is 12 hours. Minimum rest between shifts is 6 hours. And we create this customization whereby we say that for the type of shift, a day shift must be available every day, Monday to Sunday. Normally we plan by week, and at least one worker or one guard must be on duty for every of these shifts. Okay. Similarly for the night shift. Okay. So this is the requirement that we put into our software, and we have to program it. And ERPNext, being an open source software, is designed right from scratch to be easily customizable because it relies on the community to build upon the software, to develop new capabilities, so on and so forth. So it's very easy to customize, but of course, it is not so easy for a user who is not familiar with the framework to customize. But you can always approach companies like us to customize requirements for you. Now, what I'm trying to do here is that this sets a parameter which is to suit the demands that we have for the system, okay, which is company demand, how many guards on duty for each shift, which day of the week, and the workers' welfare, okay, continuous hours of not more than 12 hours, etc. So from here, we can run a report called shift check to check that everything is okay. So this report basically checks from 1st to 7th. Remember, we have allocated the shift in July as such. So every day we have a worker on duty. Now we run this shift check and find that there's nothing to show because everything is in line. Now let's say if we change this, one of the assignment, the work assignment, say we have to cancel this because this is a submitted document. Okay, now we cancel this. All right. If you go back to your shift check, you find that you have a problem because what did we do just now? We cancelled the day shift for employee S1, which is doing the day shift for the 7 days, and now it shows that the shift has failed, okay, because we do not have a day shift for every of this day. Day shift requirement is 1. Remember, we show here requirement 1, but none has been assigned. So the report tells you where to zoom in and fix the problem. Okay, so let's say we fix the problem. We save it, we submit it, refresh it, then this is fixed. Let's say we simulate a situation whereby we have a shift assignment that's more than 12 hours. Okay, so we can simulate this with employee 2, which is from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. And remember, we have a special night shift that I've created inside here to demonstrate to you that what happens when we create a clash in shifts. All right, say from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Midnight shift. Say a midnight shift from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. And say we assign this to shift assignment. We create a new one to employee S2 and create a midnight shift. Say we start off on 2nd, end date also on 2nd. Save it. There's a warning, okay, because it tells you the system actually, this is off the shelf, it's not customized. Basically tells you that employee S2 has already have an active shift on that date. Okay, let's say we ignore it, we submit it. Now you go to your requirement. You know that there is a workers' welfare, not more than 12 hours continuous and at least a 6-hour break between shifts. We go to the shift check report. Now you find that there's 2 warnings that came out. The warnings basically states that on the first day, employee 2 has a shift of longer than 16 hours, or 16 hours, which is longer than the limit of 12 hours. And similarly, the same employee has a continuous shift because there's 0 hours break between shift. Okay, if you go back to the shift, remember what we did? We put in one midnight shift. That's the whole point of creating a midnight shift, so that we can test out this report, which is from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Okay, I should name it noon shift. But in any case, what it does is that, so you find that on the first, the shift of employee S2 goes from 8 to 8 a.m. And then immediately after that, you have an 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. So this is a conflict. Therefore, the system is telling you time between shifts is too long. And because the shift is continuous, you have a 12-hour shift plus another 4-hour shift, which makes it 16 hours. So the system gives you another warning. So there's 2 warnings. And running this report, it makes it very simple for the administrator or the person, supervisor who is assigning the work shifts, to know straight away which date there's a problem and what needs to be resolved. Okay, so this portion of this report, this shift check report, is customized. It is not off the shelf, it's not from the system. So we need to design it, we need to write the software behind it, and it's not something that typical users would do, but companies like ours will be able to help you to achieve it. Now, if going back to all the shift that's been allocated, you find that, this is only like 2 employees that we're talking about. But imagine you have 6 employees, 10 employees, then there will be a lot of shift assignment, and it spans over multiple days and things like that. And just looking at the calendar itself, it's kind of difficult to know where you might have conflicts and stuff like that, whereby you can identify whether or not actually are we meeting work requirements, are we meeting our staff welfare. So such things is very difficult if you do it manually, to just look at the calendar to try and derive such information. So it is useful if we have some simple reports like this that we generate, that sieve out, run through all the assignments that you have made, and then try and make it a very clear report for you to, actionable report for you to act on and do resolutions. You can export this report into our favorite software, Excel, and download it. So what you can have is there you go, and we have something that is in Excel, and you can use this, do sort, the date formats, everything is in compliance with Excel format, and then we can do whatever we need to do in Excel to figure out any issues that we may have and resolve them. So in short, this is what I wanted to introduce about customization in the software. So talk to us if you have any questions. Thank you for your attention.